And there's always been a debate about these ones. Peter, is it a media bubble story? Is it a Westminster bubble story? Do real people actually care? I think they do on this one. I was actually down at the park earlier today, and I saw people looking at some of the press conference on their phones. There's a real interest in what Dominic Cummings has done and hasn't done, because we've been in lockdown here, very hard lockdown, for more than 2 months. I had my first coffee last week in 2 months, and it is something that everyone has really tried to stick to, because the death toll here has been extraordinary. We've had reportedly 36,000 deaths, but it's probably more like 44,000 once we add in a lot of the nursing home deaths that haven't actually been included. So Boris is really putting all his chips on Dominic Cummings at the moment, and he's really upset his backbenchers. There's been at least 20 backbenchers who've come out and said they want Cummings to go. Now, it is a bigger parliament in the UK, so there are a lot more backbenchers. There's also a bit more willingness to actually have a debate in the UK compared with Australia, where everyone's quite strict on never rocking the boat. But I think Boris has really been... It's a day 3 story now, so he's really starting to cut through that most people will be thinking, hang on, why are we still talking about this? What is the problem? And there was a brutal question in the press conference today, Peter, where Beth Rigby from Sky News UK said, do you rely too much? Can you not cope without Dominic Cummings? So it's not just a Dominic Cummings story anymore, it's a Boris Johnson story now.
Yeah, and I think a lot of the discontent emerges from the fact that so many people think that Boris has stuffed this up massively, the whole crisis, from the get-go. So in that sense, he's an easy target at the moment, and this is just off the back of so many lines of criticism against him.
You're right, Peter. There's been 2 very crushing articles in the Sunday Times over separate weeks, 2-page and 3-page articles in the broadsheet newspaper, where they've broken down forensically what Boris Johnson did and didn't do in regards to the coronavirus. And there was at least 4 Cobra national emergency meetings, which he's been accused of not attending. And there was also the story on the weekend that when he could have brought in lockdown on March 16, there were 200,000 infections in the UK. When the lockdown was brought in on March 23, there were 1.5 million infections. That was the huge rate of increase.
Yeah. Also, the fact that he was still allowing 15,000 travellers to come through Heathrow every day and not putting them in hotel quarantine, that a lot of people from where we are here in Australia just can't understand that. How was that coffee, by the way, Stephen?
It was amazing. Yeah. It was from an ice